That's better. That's better. That's better. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're well and having a beautiful day, doing whatever makes you happy in your happy space. I am in my happy space, so I hope that you are happy in that space. And if you are, do your best. We only have one life to live, and we must make it our happiest. Definitely. Irregardless of what is going on around us, we really got to try and focus and make our little square happy as much as we possibly can for our own peace of mind. Trust me, I've come to learn that as I'm getting older and wiser, I might say. Fingers crossed. Anyway guys, in today's tutorial we'll be moving on to block number 8. I'm sure of it. Block number 8, and today's block is the Bright Hopes block. It's a beautiful block. However, the trick in today's twist for the block is that we will be using some of our scraps from the Fat Quarter bundle that we have been using. I had to buy some extra fabric, which was the background fabric, because I actually ran out. I used the last of it for last week's blocks. So this week I had to buy some more. Nevertheless, I could not have gotten it. I searched, I looked online, excuse me, and couldn't find it. I was quite annoyed because when I was shopping online for it, it just wasn't turning up. So I decided was to go into the store, and I looked everywhere and it wasn't there. It wasn't where I picked it up, because I remember what I actually picked up. I picked up that particular background fabric for another block or quilt I was thinking about, so I ended up using it in the Quilt Along. So I knew exactly where I picked it up because it was in a particular line of fabrics that had the similar colors, because I was going to make a red and a pink and a red and a fine. It was the variations or the values were very slightly different. That's why I chose that. But I've found something very close. It is still white. It's probably a little bit more whiter than the first one, but nevertheless I'm not going to make it an issue. I never do. It's only fabric, and I always say what other variation adds another dimension of beauty to the quilt. That is always my philosophy, and so far I haven't been proven wrong yet, only when I doubt myself years later. Anyway, so as I said, it's a Bright Hopes block, and we're using some scraps. So I'm going to show you what I've done. I have already made most of the fabric cuts because they're scraps, so it was a lot more easier to do it in that particular way. But I'm going to take you to exactly where I stop, and then I'm going to start building the center block first. All right, so let's get started guys and have some fun. Excuse me. Again, this week I will put up the block. I must admit, last week's block was a little bit slow. I was a little bit unsure of what happened there, because usually there is a multitude of demand for it, a lot of views. So I don't know why I'm coughing. I'm not swallowing as I speak. Anyway, so that's that. I don't know what happened there, but nevertheless, we're gonna move on. I hope everybody is doing well. I've got to insert for you a picture of the Lucky Pieces block. This Lucky Pieces block, one of my subscribers took this block and made it into a quilt, and I will put it in for you to see it right now, right up there. And I would also put it on the community page. Please go over there and say well done to her, because I love it when we all get together and say yay, because you know quilting is not an easy game. It requires so much patience. My students used to say to me, "Ma'am, why are you so patient?" Yeah, because I do quilting. You know, so congratulate her and give her a thumbs up. Definitely, it's inspiring when we inspire each other in our little community. And by the way, guys, thank you for all of you who have subscribed even from day one and still following me. You guys are right here. You're right here. All right, so the channel is growing, or I should say the subscription is going. We are at I think 20,008, is it? 21,800 as of today. So I hope by the time you get this, which is probably tomorrow, we're at 22. So come on, help me push there. Like, share, subscribe, leave a feedback, give me a thumbs up. Yeah, it's important that you do so. All right, so all of the legalities out the way. Let's get into the fun. Let's get into fun. Let's get in. I'm playing. As you can tell, I'm in a good mood. But most of the times, I'm in a good mood anyway. I'm very seldom down, to be honest. I'm always like, big smile, ear to ear. Oh, I just dropped. Okay, then fine. Let's get to work. Let's get started. Why are you making noise? Who are you barking at? All right, guys. So I have all of my pieces here. Now, these are part of the cut. These are just scraps. And as you can see, I've got all of my build pieces here from the scraps. I still have quite a decent number of fat quarters left. Okay. Let me just make sure that it is number 8. Let me just count the blocks here. So 1, 2... Yes, it is block number 8. I am so happy I said that. Okay, so we're going to be moving on, and as usual, the pattern will be in the description box down below. But as I was saying before, this is most of the fat quarters still left. And the scraps here. I don't know what that's doing there, but you do not belong. Nor do you. Sorry, you cannot get into this. No, you're not allowed. This is a special people. You're just like, you know, extras. I am speaking to fabric now. Okay, fine. Okay, what is the... Hold on a minute. Foreigners, stay away. You're not allowed into this bundle. Only these special bundles together. All right, now that I'm done talking to the fabric, we're going to start with the center block. Now, bear in mind that for the center block, you can make it white, okay? You can use the background color if you want, and we will then use the star legs and these strips here as ordinary colors, okay? Now, if you wanted to use one particular color on all of them, you can. I have chosen to use up the strips in this particular way. It just gives the bright star, I think it's bright hope star, just a different dimension to how the block looks, that's all, rather than what it is. But as I said, you can use the middle as a background. However, I'm using fat quarters, a piece of the fat quarter for it. All right, so center block, and we're going to put these aside for the moment. We don't need these yet. We're going to concentrate on this here. So we have two very tiny pieces of squares. Notice I have them a shorter strip here in the yellow. These 3 here are the same size, and I will identify all of that in the pattern so that it is clear. And this is the same size as this one. All right, so we only have one short strip compared to the others, okay, and these 2 extra here. So the first thing we're going to sew on is this one on top there. All right, so we're going to do that first, and then we're going to continue with adding it all around. So I'm going to sew this on first and then come back rather than explain yet again what's going to happen. Jackson, how is it you choose to sit right by my feet? I can easily step on you. Why? Don't sit there or don't lie there. Oh, that's the response I get. Okay, so once the shorter has been sewn to the top, the next objective is to start adding the other pieces all the way around. You can go with any colors that you want. So for example, you would sew that one on there next. Okay, and then you can add either the brown there, and then you would add on the yellow to the orange there, and then these two will join together. All right, the only extra piece is that if you wanted instead was to have say a different colors, so for example we can have the brown there and you would sew on the orange there, so you have this at interchanging color. It's up to you, or you can continue the yellow. Okay, but it's just an option. Or if you wanted to, you could just make this whole piece here, make this piece here a shorter, the brown shorter, and have an orange going long on this side, like so, and then you'll have the whole longer piece. So you have these two sort of alternating colors like that. It's up to you. You can do whatever makes you happy. But sew it around in the square however you see fit. There's no right or wrong. It is a scrappy, bright hopes star. Okay, so I'll leave you up to that judgment, and then you can take it from there as you see fit. So I'm going to sew on the next piece. Obviously it measures in, so it's quite self-explanatory. And if I decided to add the orange there, then that goes on there, and whatever piece I decide to add on, that's it. Okay, or if you want, you can just have an ordinary longer piece, a different, just a long piece that matches up to there. There's no right or wrong. I just cut it like that just because. All right, guys? So I'm going to do this now. All right, guys, so the next objective is to put this all together now. Okay, so I've cut my stars into half square triangles, so my star legs. Okay, you need 8 star legs. I have gone for a combination of different colors so that again it looks scrappy. Okay, and I have given my center block here a little bit of a press so that it's lovely and neat. Now the next objective is to get the star legs positioned around. Do remember that if you wanted to make this center block here the background color, you may. I actually decided I wanted to have another color in there. All right, so what we're going to do now is to put this on point, and we're going to lay around the star legs. Now because I have used brown here, and I do have some of my half square triangles in brown, I am not going to put it next to that particular color. All right, so remember this is set on point, and I'm laying it out as so. Now what I wanted to remind you of, do remember that last session, or one of the sessions, we had extra, I think it was for the either the woven, we had extra half square triangles. If you want to use those and line them up against the ones that you have, you can, which is what I have actually done. So I think we had 4 left. I've used 3 of them to within this block, so I've just lined them up and measure out the accurate size, which is again using up the scraps. All right, so again I have blue on the center block, so I'm not going to put it next to that particular one, and we're going to line them up as so. Remember again, the block is on point, it's set on point. All right, and I'm going to put that one there. I'm going to sneak all the last brown in there. To be honest, wherever you put them is entirely down to you. Can't see an issue. I don't want to get my blocks mixed up, so I just want to measure it, because I know I have 1 or 2 somewhere that is slightly bigger. I think this is the slightly bigger one. Yes, it is. All right, so that's it there. That's it, what it looks like. All right, now the next thing we need to do is take our squares, and we are going to fit it in there, and of course we need some corner squares. So I'm going to take these big squares here that I have, and I'm going to cut them in half. Alright, and that goes there, and the other one goes there. It's a very relatively quick block to make. Doesn't take long at all. I think I do need to cut a couple more background fabric. That one goes there. And I think one more. Right, so I have here some corner squares, goes in there, corner squares there, and I have two here that I need to trim. So I'm just going to line that up there and trim it down to the appropriate size. Rather than go and cut more fabric, I can just trim this down. So that goes there, and the last two goes in there, and that is your block. I'm just making a mess. And that is it there. Okay, looks pretty good. I love it that it's on point. Looks really nice. Yeah, I think it looks fine. So that's it, guys. That's it. And to sew it together will be the obvious, like we've done before. I'm loving it in the picture there. It looks brilliant. It looks brilliant in the picture, definitely. So to sew it together as usual, as we did before, these two will sew together. All right, and then you'll sew these two together, and then of course you'll bring these two blocks together and then add on that other one. Or you can sew these two together and then sew that one and then add on. Either way, it doesn't really matter. It's up to you, whatever is the easiest. Whatever is the easiest. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this done, and then I'll come back and show you the result. All right, let me just set an example of sewing this together. So you're going to take your half square triangle and your star legs and line it up point to point from the point there. And obviously the blue is going to stick out, isn't it? All right, don't worry about that. Just line it up. Your guide here really is making sure the background and the star legs lines up properly at the end down there. And I'm just going to sew. If I can get my thread out the way. Again, using a 1/4 inch. Okay, so once that's done, obviously we put the white down as normal and we fold it back. I'm just going to finger press. You flip it around towards you. You take your red and again you do the same thing, lining up the points there. Or I should say the tip, more or less, but you get the idea. Line up those tips, and obviously it's going to come beyond what you just stitched together. And that's it. So in essence, what you're making is some flying geeses. Okay. I mean, sewing this together, you can use any method that makes you happy, really. Okay. What I have tried to do is, as much as we've made so many different stars, is to use different techniques to sew them together. So that is what you're going to finish off with. All right, so let's go back to the cutting mat. All right, so we're going to remove the dog ears as normal, and any other trimmings that is necessary. I'm just going to give this a little press here. Alright, so the last is to literally now put it all together. So by this stage, obviously, I've mixed everything around, so it doesn't really matter. But as long as you don't put your browns next to your browns, okay? Make sure you line it up properly as well. And don't face it this way as I just did, because if you do that, you are creating a completely different pattern. All right? I mean, if you want to go with that, you may, but that is not what we're going for, so don't do that. Okay, let's put that in there. So as you can see, if you turn it, you're going to get a different pattern, basically. All right, so we want the legs sticking up, so turn them the right way around. And this one there. So I'm thinking about moving. I don't like that too close there. I'll put that one there. And I think that's it. So all we need to do now is just simply sew together like a 9 patch. And we're good to go. And that's it. Bob's your uncle, I think. Alright, so I'm going to do that, get the block press, and I'll show you the whole thing. Alright guys, so block is ready. Just giving it a bit of a steam press here. Okay, I'm not sure what the block measures. It looks a bit small, to be honest. I am thinking I made an error and cut my block sizes incorrectly. I think I may have a 12-inch block here rather, because I want my unfinished size to be 12.5. So I think I made a miscalculation somewhere. Nevertheless, it's fine. It's not going to be a problem. I will give you yours so that your block comes up to unfinished at 12.5, which means I would have to do it all over again. Make sure I get the sizes correct. I don't mean do the block again. Alright, so this is what it looks like. I think it looks beautiful either way. I will keep my size to this, which is not a problem for me. I will obviously add, when it's time to put the blocks together for the quilt top, I will add a strip of white border around it or something. I'm not too worried about solving that problem. But this is what it looks like. I think it's lovely, beautiful, love it. Using up the scraps. The other one will also, the next block number 9, will also be using up some scraps as well, to get all of the blocks. I still have quite a few of, as I showed you earlier, of the fat quarters left. So that is it. I think it looks lovely. Remember though that if you want to add white in there, you can. I omitted not to, and to just keep the background around it and really focus on this Bright Hopes star. Alright, but as I said, I will give yours, I will make the changes here and make sure that I include, I think, let me just measure just to make sure. I could be wrong. Let me switch this off. Where is my squaring up ruler? Oh, there it is. Okay, let's have a look. So it does measure, let's have a look. Yeah, it measures 11.5. So I am off by an inch. All right, so I made the adjustments and add it to the pattern, so you don't have to worry about that, to be honest. So it should finish, so unfinished should be 12.5. However, mine is 11, so I will make the adjustments. I reckon I did it wrong. I made my my legs wrong, but that's not a problem. It fits. So that's it for now. Do like and subscribe for more, and I will see you next week, guys. Bye for now, and happy quilting. I hope you enjoy making this block. Again, the pattern will be down below so that you can make it. I love it, actually. I think it's one of the most simplistic blocks, but yet it peed me off that I made that error. But, you know, which is interesting in it. One of the easiest blocks, I guess, because your concentration laps a little bit. Whereas the other blocks, I really was focusing on making sure I get everything right. Whereas this one, I was watching YouTube. And never mind. But as I said, I'm happy with it as it is. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now. Happy quilting. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys. Bye.
Baby,